Hi! Welcome to Classic Recaps. A young John Wick gets on a bus to save hostages, but there is a catch. The speed limit needs be above 50 miles per hour or else everyone will die. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The film opens in the basement of a building, where a security guard finds a repairman, Howard, working on some faulty wires. The guard tells him he needs clearance to work in that area and asks him for his work permit, but Howard stabs him and drops him dead. Moments later, some employees enter an elevator and Howard gets his chance, pressing a button and creating an explosion that breaks the elevator down. Thankfully, its passengers are saved because the elevator is jammed by its emergency brakes. The police arrive and Lieutenant Mack informs everyone of the situation. A bomber is keeping 13 people as hostages in the elevator and is asking for $3 million, or else he will kill all of them. Since they only have half an hour to save them, Jack takes Harry to examine the explosive device on top of the elevator. To safeguard the passengers, they climb to the roof of the building and manage to get a hook and attach it to the elevator. The bomber is able to hear them, and he blows the emergency brakes before the deadline is up. But the hook does its job and jams the elevator again, giving Jack and Harry enough time to save the passengers. They also manage to track the bomber down, but the man is ruthless and well prepared. Howard takes Harry hostage, but Jack shoots Harry in the leg and now Howard has no leverage. When Jack runs after him, Howard detonates another bomb, sending Jack flying through the air and managing to escape. In the following days, Jack and Harry receive their honorary medals for showing bravery and courage in the line of duty. Mac takes them out for a drink and makes a toast to Harry for being so courageous and another to Jack because he shot Harry, jokingly saying that was something everybody would like to do. After a few spins on the dance floor, the three of them sit down and Harry tries to warn Jack that he is not always going to be there for him and he should stop acting recklessly because one day, his recklessness is going to get him killed. Good luck runs out sooner or later. The next day, Jack is having his coffee when a bus blows up and kills a driver that Jack is friends with. Jack receives a call, and the bomber tells him that he was the one who did that because Jack ruined his elevator job, which he had been working on for 2 years on. He also adds that he has trapped another bus with a bomb, and he wants $3.7 million in ransom to deactivate the bomb. He tells Jack that the bomb will activate when the bus speeds up at 50 miles per hour and will explode if its speed dropped below 50 miles per hour. Finally, the bomber tells Jack that he wants his money within the next 2 hours and there is one more rule to their game: no passenger is allowed to leave the bus, or else he will detonate the bomb. Jack tries to warn the bus driver to not drive above 50 miles per hour, but it is too late for that since the bus has already overcome that speed limit. The next best thing Jack can do is try to help by calling Harry to tell him about the incident and then jumping on the bus himself. Jack warns the driver to stay above 50 miles no matter what when one of the passengers, Annie, asks Jack if he is crazy. Jack tells them he is a cop and informs them that there is a situation going on. Another passenger draws a gun out of his pants and points it toward Jack, thinking that Jack jumped on the bus for him. Jack draws his own gun but then lowers it down and tells the man that he doesn't care about his crime, and he is not after him. When the man calms down, another passenger jumps on him to help Jack, but the gun goes off and shoots the driver, Sam. Annie runs to Sam to help him out and also grabs the wheel. She tries to hit the brake but Jack shouts that they need to keep their speed above 50 miles or else the bomb on the bus will explode and kill them all. Furthermore, he informs them that they should not try and leave the bus because the bomb will explode if they try. Although the passengers are shocked, Jack knows he must stay in control of the situation and asks Annie, who is now driving, if she thinks she can handle driving the bus. Annie says that she can handle it and informs him that her driving license was revoked due to speeding. Jack is having a consultation session with Harry over the phone and Harry tells him if he has a visual of the bomb. Jack replies he can't look under the bus because it is moving, but Sam tells Jack that there is a hatch right under his feet. Jack opens the hatch and hands the phone to a passenger so he can tell Harry what Jack is seeing. Jack tells him that there is enough C4 under the bus to dig a hole in the ground and lets Harry know that the explosive mechanism is somehow connected to a cheap watch with a golden band. Harry is about to tell Jack what he is thinking, but then Annie interrupts because she wants Jack's help so he can guide her through the road and avoid the roadblocks. Mac calls Jack and says that he will clear the road for them and lead the bus to an empty highway where they will be free to move, but a bunch of pupils momentarily ruin the plan. The police return to help the bus and Mac now tells Jack they need to take a sharp turn. Annie says that they are not going to make it and the bus will flip over, but Jack comes up with a plan and tells the passengers to sit on the opposite side of the bus so they can keep the weight balanced. After they make the turn, Mac approaches the bus on a truck and has a quick chat with Jack. The bomber sees that on the TV and calls Jack, asking him if he is going to break their deal. Jack says he is not going to, but Howard needs to allow him to get the driver off the bus because he has been shot and he needs to get transferred to the hospital. Howard says nobody leaves the bus, but Jack asks him to do it as an act of goodwill and that may help him get his money quicker. Howard allows this exception and Sam is transferred from the bus to the truck. Seeing that, a female passenger loses her control and wants to leave the bus as well. When Jack turns his back, she approaches the bus's steps and tries to reach for the policeman, but the bomber sees that and he detonates a bomb of smaller range, which blows the woman off and gets her killed. Things start getting tense inside the bus since the passengers are terrified and they start arguing with each other. Like that wasn't enough, Mac is now informed that there is a part of the road missing straight ahead. He says that his map shows the road being completed, but his men tell him that the helicopters have confirmed that there are 50 feet of nothingness straight ahead. Jack tells everyone inside the bus about their new problem and prompts them to hold tight. He tells Annie to step on the gas pedal because their only chance is to try and make the jump from one part of the road to the other. Surprisingly, they make the jump, and all the passengers are safe. Next, Jack tells Annie to take the side road and then another turn that leads to the air terminal, where Annie will have enough open space to run circles with the bus. Howard calls Jack and tells him that his move of entering the air terminal was quite clever, but also warns him to not do anything that would break their rules. Jack asks Howard to allow him to get out off the bus, but the latter sees no reason to do that. Jack tells him that he wants to guarantee the safety of the passengers, hence, he wants to tell his lieutenant to speed things up and give him the money. The bomber allows him to get out of the bus and Jack jumps on a police car, where Mac is waiting for him. Mac says that they now can extract the passengers from the bus because helicopters are not allowed in the air terminal and Howard will not be able to see them. Jack advises against that because he is certain the bomber will have taken his precautions. He is always one step ahead of them. Instead, Jack wants to find a way and get under the bus to try and defuse the bomb. Jack uses a platform to slide under the bus and try to defuse the bomb while he is on a call with Harry, who will give him instructions. But things don't go as planned because the bomb is trapped with a secondary mechanism and can't be disarmed. Left with no choice, Jack decided to get out of there, but the platform breaks down. Luckily, the passengers manage to pull him back onto the bus. Suddenly, Jack realizes that there is a camera on the top right corner of the bus that is broadcasting directly to Howard. Mac gets a technician, and the technician helps him tune into the broadcast and record a short tape which he then plays back into the broadcast for Howard to see so he doesn't understand what's really happening in the bus. With the recording playing, Jack manages to get everybody out of the bus. He himself slides out of the bus with Annie, just seconds before the bus crashes into a plane and explodes. When Howard realizes this, he pulls a final trick and abducts Annie and board a train. Jack goes after them and has a final fight with Howard and manages to kill him. Jack returns to Annie but realized she is handcuffed to a pole. They are running out of time as the train tracks ahead are incomplete. They couldn't break free and have limited options. Jack decided to accelerate the train to max speed and hope for the best. They hug each other around the pole and brace for impact. The train breaks into several parts with lots of carnage, but luckily, Jack and Annie are both okay. Both of them are happy to make it out alive. Annie commented Jack didn't leave her and falls in love with him. They start kissing passionately. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the bell notifications so you won't miss any of our new videos. See you in the next one.